Hello, good morning. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Dateline Abuja on AIT. I'm Hawa Momo. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has again demonstrated its commitment to making sure that Nigerian children and youth are protected from cyber criminals and their antics, as it commenced a nationwide cybersecurity awareness campaign at a conference attended by students from 24 private and public secondary schools in Abuja. Let's take a listen.
The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, began a nationwide campaign to enlighten the youth about the cyber criminals and harmful internet content. The campaign, tagged Cybersecurity Enlightenment Program for Schools, started with a conference attended by students from 24 private and public secondary schools in Abuja. The campaign gives concrete expression to the Commission's effort at strengthening child online protection within the country as the country deepens its embrace of the digital culture. The significance of the event was seen in its attendance by 3 ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They include the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, represented by Special Advisor on Technical Matters, Dr. Femi Adeluyi, Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Tollin, represented by her Special Advisor on Technical Matters, Princess Jumai Idonije, and the Ministry of Education, Malam Adamu, who was also represented by the Director Information and Communication Technology, ICT, in the ministry, Abubakar Isa. Representatives of the Ministers of Communications and Digital Economy and Women Affairs applauded the intervention of NCC in not only stimulating accessibility and availability of digital access to Nigerians, but also making a priority the sensitization of users, especially the younger generation, on the proper use of the internet and enlightening them on how they can be protected when using the internet.
I wish to appeal to all relevant stakeholders to work closely with the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs to target children using the internet to provide the needed protection from online exploitation. In addition to the legal framework to protect the rights and welfare of children in Nigeria, a presidential declaration was made in 2015 to end all forms of violence against children by 2030. In furtherance of this presidential commitment, several efforts have been made by the ministry to enhance child protection issues and coordinate interventions to address violence against children, including online sexual exploitation of children in collaboration with relevant stakeholders and development partners.
Earlier in his address, Professor Umar Dambata, Executive Vice Chairman of NCC, said the NCC-sponsored Cybersecurity Enlightenment Program has a specific interest in online protection of the youth, especially the children, both in public and private schools.
There are people out there who busy themselves with undermining the security of this space, trying to gain access to your information, your data, something you are sending from your computer to another computer, with the intention to either defraud us of our savings, okay, if the information you are receiving or sending is to our banks. And I think that is the commonest manifestation of cyberspace breach in terms of security.
In addressing all of these issues towards protecting the young population against cyber criminals, the EVC said the Commission has instituted various initiatives. One such initiative, he said, is the ongoing awareness campaign to sensitize secondary school children across the country to cyber-related crimes such as cyberbullying, internet fraud, identity theft, online soliciting of minors, amongst others.
The Nigerian Communications Commission is committed to making sure that our children and youth are protected from cyber criminals by putting in place the following initiatives, among others. Okay, so the content is not only abusive, it's not only criminal, the content may not be intended to defraud. It is not only intended to defraud people of their savings. It's not only to sort of dilute the way and manner we have been bringing our children, okay? Because the content we're seeing today presents a huge problem to families.
While noting that the fight against cybercrimes transcends geographic jurisdictions, Dambata affirmed that the Commission is working to build strategic partnership and collaborative alliances with stakeholders, agencies and organizations to ensure safety of the cyberspace for users in Nigeria.
I've been watching this city for most of my life and I've seen it grow. And I can't believe how quickly it is growing. Dateline Abuja here in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, just makes sense. This city is at the center of so many stories, culturally, socially and economically. When you look at Abuja, what do you see? When you see a market, I see a melting pot of culture. Where most people see construction, I see development. A road, I see connectivity. The lake, I see possibilities. This is my city. See it from a different perspective. For news, people, places, events, and lifestyle, Dateline Abuja, here in the Federal Capital Territory. A long list of expectation awaits the FCT Minister Alhaji Muhammad Bello in his second tenure as Minister of the FCT. You would recall that sometime last year, the Minister charged heads of department, agencies, as well as 6 area council chairmen to brace up for better performances or be shown the way out. He stated that underperformance will not be tolerated from any member or quarters. Today on the show, we're discussing our expectations from the FCT Minister. Stay with us. Well, my guest today on Dateline Abuja, I have with me Mr. Atta Ikaro. He's a journalist and is the chairman FCT Ministerial Traffic Management Tax Team. You're welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you very much, my sister.
And he's also a co-journalist like myself. I also have Oima Izere, is a career counselor and an FCT stakeholder. Welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you. It's always good to be here.
Okay, today on the show, we're discussing the expectations from the FCT Minister now that he's been reappointed in 2020. What are our expectations? As
regards security, the Abuja environment or the administration enjoys certain advantage. Why? Because the president lives here. This is the hub of diplomatic community. All security agencies have their headquarters situated in Abuja. So even if the FCT administration is laid back in the issue of security, other agencies will not. However, compared to the heightened security concerns we have in Nigeria right now, relatively Abuja metropolis, not the satellite town, the peripheral areas of Abuja, it's relatively safe. But how about the satellite towns,
yes,
the other area councils? Are they relatively safe? No. We still hear reoccurring incidents of the one chance, kidnapping, petty armed robbery. Even within Abuja metropolis, there is still a whole lot the administration have to do. And this borders on sensitization, then the sincerity of security agencies to ensure that criminality is reduced to the barest minimum within Abuja metropolis. So we're not there yet, but I think we can get somewhere or reduce these things minimally.
And like what he raised, which is also germane going forward, is the need for us to look at it as a collaborative effort here. Because like what he said, which someone confirmed, Abuja is relatively secure. Relatively, that means it can be subjective and we can discuss that in several forms.
What are we expecting from the FCT administration in terms of job creation for the youths?
When we talk about, job creation, people shouldn't just focus on white-collar jobs. There are so many, a woman who fries akara on the roadside and have somebody who is serving to other people. She has created job in one way or the other. Yes, it's still not yet there, but I think apart from Lagos, Abuja, then maybe the Riverina area because of the robust oil offshore activities within that sector. Abuja is not doing badly. If not for anything, the real estate activity within these premises and all other supporting, value service creations around. It's also creating jobs, but then the government must ensure that the environment is enabling to, trigger foreign direct investments or even promote and support our local indigenous investors to grow. And that is where factors of taxation come into play.
Yes.
What is the AEPB doing? This multiple harassment of businesses day by day is another dimension.
As well, AMAC level, I'm talking about SMEs now, job creation and people supporting, like you said.
It starts from SMEs.
No, if you watch it, the FCT Minister is already streamlining that through DOAS. We had so many problems before where you have people collecting multiple taxation.
Yes, from AMAC is collecting, AEPB is collecting.
So who are we paying to? And there's no record, no data.
Young SMEs.
The minister is saying that, look, let's streamline all. When it comes to, let's look at outdoor advertisement, for instance, the signages, the billboard, the lamppost. Let DOAS collect. When DOAS collect, then from that point, they can share to every other component, the local government. So that particular one is settled. The MSMEs are a very sensitive aspect of business that sometimes don't even require too much of government support. If we have stable power supply going on here, some of them can even go with their tools, and yet they are doing business very well. But by and largely, getting good roads in the FCT, for me, is part of supporting the business, getting things to work properly, getting them to move freely via traffic. All these are issues that are all collectively together, joining functions of a city in a whole to get the city work here. But I believe largely, the area councils must do something very sensitive because they are the ones closer to the grassroots.
Let's talk about the taxes that SMEs have to pay. I know that a lot of shop owners have complained about paying different taxes to AMAC and also paying to AEPB.
No, not if you do business, you must learn to pay tax. But it's not the kind of tax you pay that is tax for the boys. The tax they come in, say tax force don't come home, give them 4,000. They come again, the next day they come again, tax force don't come home. No. Government have procedure for payment. Go to the office, pay and get your receipt, and you are done. When you allow these boys to come to you, and also like what I also raised, don't allow people to come and harass you. But it is wrong. We must not deny that those things happen. We can't deny that those things happen. Some boys come under tax force, and tax force is not just Abuja Environmental. Sometimes you can be in a market. The market itself has its own tax force. The area council got their own tax force. Maybe even within the tomato sellers area, they have their own tax force. Then the Abuja Environmental got its own tax force. All of these tax force together, some of them have exhibited questionable characters. They come with some tickets. They cheat market people. They cheat those who are managing to do small businesses. And I think holistically as a whole, this is very cardinal that government addresses so that you don't have to shortchange people by coming to threaten them and intimidate them only to make money. But I believe that if the FCTA and AMAC can work in some of the areas where they have multiple taxation here, they streamline them into a single collecting point or collecting party, then it will be good for us than when you are collecting and
I get a bill from AMAC for waste and liquid, solid and liquid waste every year. I also get another invoice from AEPB,
and
for the same purpose.
You know why this one?
Have
You know why this particular one? Let me speak for AEPB. AMAC doesn't collect your waste. Am I correct? It doesn't collect your waste. AEPB collect your waste. The liquid waste, all the sewer line are all under FCTA, under AEPB. So you don't have collecting point. You don't collect waste. You don't clear the sewer line that flows to Upa treatment plant. Why are you collecting?
Are you saying so he shouldn't pay when we get bills?
No, you cannot. You cannot collect money like tenement trade, for instance. The area council don't provide roads. You don't provide water. You don't provide light. You don't provide anything. You only come and collect tenement for what?
Now this is multiple taxation, and so we're expecting the FCTA.
Yeah,
not just multiple taxation. There are also fraudulent taxation. You understand? There is a criminal conspiracy within this taxation process. So the minister or the responsible authority or the relevant authorities must look into this and nip it in the bud so that people don't get harassed on daily basis.
The fraudulent act.
Yes.
So that's an expectation from the minister. He has to do it.
And again, the approach, I'm not saying people shouldn't pay tax. People must learn to pay taxes. It is very key. But the approach in which this tax force using, collecting or dealing with defaulters is very crude. We're in a civilized world, for crying out loud. And you don't go and impound people's goods, break their stores, destroy their items, all because the person have defaulted. No, we have the courts. Sue them to court.
Can even write.
Yes. Sue them to court and let the law take its course.
Even give them the federal government TSA
into your hand is also breaking. So you don't break the law by trying to enforce the law.
Tax,
you don't do that.
Shouldn't go and be giving money. Pay to TSA. Bring your and
that is the citizens' responsibility right now.
You were a victim of this. So how would people who are also victims?
No.
I went to the office.
So go to the office.
I went to the office because you see, this is where the citizens also have. Let's not just blame the government in all things. Yeah. We, the citizens, also have a fault here. Somebody comes with a bill that looks questionable, that does not, becloud your sense of reasoning, and rather than look for trying to cut corners, go to the office, go to the relevant office, and query whatever it is.
Okay, let's talk about environment. Now we know that the AMMC coordinates the
AEPB and others. Yeah.
Now we do not have
I think
coordinator managing, and we have problems around it.
No, but the AEPB has a director, that's Babalawal. Without a coordinator, he must work with the acting coordinator, who is Mr. Suleiman, the DAF of AMMC. And I think going forward here, they should be able to clean the city, because first of all, you must pick the waste. I know when you have manhole blockage and you have this very offensive water, this very offensive liquid and very offensive smell coming out here, you must go free the manhole and let it go through. You must pack that and ensure that people don't crowd in areas where they sell and make things so difficult for those living in those neighborhoods here. And I think very strongly here, a clean city is key to those who want to come in here.
Abuja environmentalists have a lot of work to do. Our drainages, let the rains come and drive around Abuja. You will realize that the roads are flooded. From Area 3 flyover down to central area. Once the rain comes, everywhere is flooded. And that is because of poor management. Our fleet management culture is poor. And not just the government. Yeah, the government have the responsibility to maintain, but the citizen have, the responsibility to ensure that we do not destroy. Our habit of littering our drainages with all manner of things is quite poor. The manhole, there are metal
manhole covers.
Yeah, manhole cover. The metal.
They were stolen.
Yes, by these boys they call Babangbola because they want to sell. Is that an act of poverty or wickedness to the environment? Why would you want to remove that manhole that actually prevents debris or plastic or non-degradable waste to get into those drainages and cause problems for the environment? 2, we saw how Lokongoma axis was ravaged by flood. People lost their life, people lost homes, people lost properties because of flood. What is the government? Have we been able to solve that problem to ensure that when the rains will come,
this year,
we do not have double of what we faced last year? Are the canals true? Have we removed the illegal structures that are not approved, that actually created flooding? Have we beckoned on the developers to ensure that they put infrastructure in place? Are the areas where the areas where water flows, do we not have buffers in this area to ensure that these rains do not overflow into residents? So what plan do we have? Because you see, when you don't do things on time, we are not very good. We are not very good reactively with challenges in this country. So the best bet is for us to be proactive. Because when the problems come, all we do is to become sensational about it, as we do not even have the competence, the right competence of personnel to actually nip these things in the bud. So environmentally, too, we need to eradicate some primitive practice. Why do we still have women sweeping our roads? In modern day environmental management, people are not supposed to sweep. There are tractors that sweep roads. Let the vendors who provide environmental management services to either AMAC or FCTA up their game. It should be a requirement that, look, you must get a tractor that's super, I don't know what they call it, but are tractors that's brush roads. In the face of trying to develop our environment, we must throw away sentiments. We must throw away sentiments and ensure that Abuja has the right ambience of a 21st century megacity. We must improve.
Thank you so much. We know that Abuja can't be complete without the suburbs. The suburbs are the ones who actually make the people in Abuja. Almost 80% of the workforce live in the suburbs.
That's true.
Let's talk about development in the suburbs. It is like it's not going anywhere.
I think from my own point of view, the FCTA through the Satellite Development Agency (STDD) must up its game, but above all, the area council must do some heavy waking up. I'm serious. The suburbs is within
it's like
their
the division between the FCTA and the area council.
The FCTA only decides to come in because the area councils are not doing their bid, or because the population influx is making it difficult for them. So the FCTA is the one who owns almost all roads in the suburbs. Area council had very few roads here. The area council must wake up. I'm serious. The suburbs need two things: road infrastructure and environmental cleanliness.
I'm sure you are aware that when we talk about moving Abuja or making Abuja a 21st century city, or even comparing it to Kigali, nobody's going to be asking us, oh, is it the fault of the area councils or is the FCTA?
If I am correct, you understand, by the act that made the FCTA, the area councils are under.
No, they're not. They're totally independent. Totally independent.
So who are they accountable to?
Nobody.
How do they get the allocation?
No, just that the money comes through the FCT minister, who from history they are always lucky share it. They have a they have a what do you call it now? A jack meeting where they share the money to them. Everybody gets his own. When they get their own, they go completely independent. The FCTA don't interfere in their matter, and they ought to develop the suburbs and the area council. So, but the FCTA has a secretariat called the what do you call that? Secretariat for Area Council. That one supervises them, check what they are doing. But when it comes to finances and what they want to do, they are completely independent.
Is it not possible for us to have a legislation that will set up an independent audit council to checkmate the activities of the area council, saying that they are abdicating responsibility?
Yes, they are.
And putting more pressure on FCTA. Because you can't talk about urbanization without opening the peripheral areas of the city. You can't do that. Yeah. Within Abuja metropolis alone, we have a lot of shanties.
You nailed it.
There are a lot of shanties.
You nailed it.
If it is to go to the National Assembly and put this in there, the area councils cannot be so independent as they are not accountable to anybody. Nobody checkmates how you manage your fund, disbursements of fund, whereas you get allocation monthly, you submit, you have a template, you have a budget. How do you disburse this fund?
They work with their councillors.
They have to be
supervising them.
Who is supervising?
FCT Minister of State supervises them.
Let's also use this medium to let the FCT Minister know that certain areas of Abuja is becoming highly congested.
Yes, of course. So are doing expectations.
The Apo Road. From Apo roundabout down, it's down to Mechanic Village.
It's expansion.
That construction has been ongoing for the past 7 years. Yeah. They started from Apo roundabout. Right now, I think they are almost around the Kabusa Junction area. What they are just doing there is, creating doors. Abuja has an advantage in terms of terrain. This is not the Niger Delta where you have, issues with terrain. The land is solid, is compact. Why is it taking the contractors so much time?
But for that one,
because this is where the corruption comes into play. Where contractors will not want to go to site, want to do contract variation just to make more money and all that. This minister has started on a good note. He must ensure that good personality, that fear of God, which he brought on board, which saw that is what he demonstrated in his last appointment under the previous regime, Goodluck Jonathan, that made President Buhari say, young man, come, I like you, do this. He must ensure that his good heart is matched with competence. It's not enough to be committed. It's enough for you to also be competent.
If you give him the chance to prioritize, he can pick the Apo Road. Is one of the most chaotic roads now. That road is leading to a mass housing district. So that road must be expanded as quick as possible. But sometimes they may approve money for a stretch from the Apo roundabout down to back of the villa, where you apparently have no traffic there almost at all. I think the lawmakers themselves need to come on board on the same page. But I think in all of this, since we are engaging here, I'm confident that we are already going somewhere.
Yes, that is a start.
A very good start.
Yes, so thank you very much. Last word for the FCT. You just advised him that his name should not be his good.
He should not allow his name to be rubbished, because that is where he's heading to. Otherwise, he should nip it in the bud right now. Otherwise,
he
he should understand better.
I think very strongly the FCT administration should please look at the people and be very bold to tackle problems. Wherever there is problem, let's not shy away from it. It may be traffic, it may be satellite town, it may be the issue he raised in Apple. Face all problems squarely and prioritize and get solutions. That's all.
And use a martial approach if need be.
Thank you so much.
The lawyers will be telling this man, Ohimai, you are going beyond the law.
Oh, thank you so much. I've been talking to Mr. Atta Ekaro. He is the chairman, FCT Ministerial Traffic Management Tax Team, and also a co-journalist. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, my very wonderful, beautiful sister.
Thank you so much for being part of Dateline Abuja. I also have Ohimai Izere. He is a career counselor and, of course, FCT stakeholder.
a very passionate stakeholder.
The program is Dateline Abuja. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Unless Abuja is seen and treated as a modern national capital city and the FCT administration is proactive in their duties, a rush of squatter settlement and shanty towns in the Abuja metropolis are bound to disfigure the town for good. We wish the FCT Minister and his administration all the best as he meets the residents of the FCT's expectations. And that's the much we can take today on the show. Thanks for keeping a date with us. Kindly follow us on any of our social media handles showing right now on your TV screen. Join me same time, same station. I'm Hawa Momo. Have a lovely day and happy Valentine's Day in advance.